A lowly absolute negated all. 130.46. Lowly absolute. Nothing of Savitri. It effaced the ignorant world from its solitude and drowned the soul in its everlasting peace. That is the kind of peace Savitri gets now, after annulling herself totally and becoming God. But in other words, Savitri would have merged and gone lost into that absolute. She is no more there now, nothing. Savitri has nothing of her own now. She would have become totally that void itself. Savitri as a person would not be there because she was told to annul herself. It would have been what one would call laya, the dissolution of Savitri into that absolute void. She has withdrawn from the entire manifestation. She would have withdrawn. Become nothing means you are out of manifestation now. You have no connection at all with this one. In other words, that would have been kind of a danger. Savitri has a mission to do. She is told to annul herself totally and be void, disappear from it. Then what happens here? How does she come back and do things? That's the beauty of the spiritual experience Savitri has here. Absolutely unique. The uniqueness lies in the fact that it is the ancient mother clutched her child to her breast. Savitri would have vanished. She would have disappeared into the void. Then what? She was told to go away, she would have gone away. But then the ancient mother, she would not allow Savitri to go away. The power of the evolutionary force is there on earth, that ancient mother who has been toiling since the beginning of this evolutionary creation. She has been toiling since the beginning of this evolution. She would not allow Savitri to disappear like that. How can you go away, Savitri? You have work here to do. You are told to do something, you have done it. But then what happens here? The ancient mother clutched her child back. She put her back. No, Savitri, you cannot go. Pressing her close in her environing arm, as if earth, ever the same, could forever keep the living spirit and body in her clasp. As if death were not there, nor end, nor change. So that is the power now which brings Savitri back. Savitri was told to annul herself, she has done it, she would have disappeared. But the power of this earth, the ancient mother, who is the soul of this earth, she would not allow Savitri to go away. She says, my child, how can you go away? You have to come back here. She brings her back, you see. And then, from that point onward, the real battle on earth begins. See, a big change has taken place in Savitri. Savitri has been brought back.
When Sri Aurobindo went into the Nirvana,
Pardon?
when Sri Aurobindo had Nirvanic
Of course.
experiences and he went there, how did he come back? Was it the ancient mother who told him, stay here?
He was aware of his spirit's consciousness, spirit's work. Always.
So he didn't go too far.
He had experience. What is the purpose of the inconscient of nirvana? To see that all that is inconscient in you, that disappears. It is that which disappears. He should not hold you back. He should not come in the way of your work.
But normally you go into nirvana and
Then, finished, gone.
yes, exactly, yeah.
That will be very bad for us.
Once in nirvana, then you-
But there are souls who would like to disappear that way also. There are who like, as I told you last time, Ravana's example is a famous example. He wanted to totally go away from this creation, to merge himself totally, entirely into the Supreme. And therefore he makes Supreme himself as his enemy. Rama. Rama gets defeated and gets totally absorbed in him. He prefers to go out of existence altogether. He merges entirely into the being of Rama, of the divine. But in other words, that was his mission. In fact, that is what happened in the case of the Buddha. When he was standing on the verge of nirvana, he would have gone and disappeared from this one. There was something there behind saying, no, what about this creation? And that Buddha standing on the borderline of nirvana, between this and that, they are named as Amitabha Buddha.
normally the soul gets dissolved in the nirvana.
It could have gone and disappeared.
The soul disappears or gets dissolved?
Everything goes away. It
There's no
dissolves.
soul.
No, nothing remains. You have dissolved totally. As if you have put
Never
a
existed.
pinch of sugar in water and disappeared, or milk. Gone. Finished. So, in fact, that is the great. In fact, that is what happens in the case of the avatar. Avatar has that experience with nirvana, but at the same time, there is something in him which holds him back. Buddha, he is on the borderline of nirvana, entering into that thing, but the avatar is there. No, you cannot. Dukkha, pain, suffering, sorrow, this world, you come for that. But at the same time, that experience is necessary experience. In fact, in one of the letters, Sri Aurobindo mentions that Buddha's experience of nirvana is of course very important because it has to deal with the inconscient nature. It has to totally go away. And therefore, Buddha in this series of avatars has a place to stand. He is an avatar. But he also says that although chronologically Buddha comes after Krishna, Krishna is the overmind avatar. It is he who has brought down the overmind into the earth consciousness, Krishna's consciousness, globality. And afterwards comes Buddha, chronologically. Maybe 2500 years afterwards. I will put the Mahabharata war around 3100 BC. And Buddha is 2500 BC, roughly. So that is the time gap between Krishna and Buddha. Now, Sri Aurobindo says that although chronologically Buddha came after Krishna, spiritually the realization of nirvana should precede the realization of overmind consciousness. Spiritually, the order is reversed. Only when these two are established, then can the next avatar, so to say, think of bringing down the higher power, supermind, supermind, supermind. That is what happens. Next avatar, full avatar. In between, of course, we had Christ also to pave the path, to prepare the collective for a certain growth, to bring out the power of divine love in human nature. So that is the way. So you have got Krishna, Buddha, Christ. Then the supramental avatar. Now, this is the experience Savitri has. There was some high surpassing secrecy. Now, what happened to that experience? Savitri has that experience, but the whole world around feels so differently. The spiritual atmosphere which is there in the Shalva woods of that time, they experienced something different. There was some high surpassing secrecy. And when she sat alone with Satyavan, her moveless mind with his just searched and strove. See, her moveless mind, but he is still searching and striving. In the hush of the profound and intimate night, she turned to the face of a veiled, voiceless truth, hid in the dumb recesses of the heart, or waiting beyond the last peak lined by thought. Unseen itself, it sees the struggling world and prompts our quest, but cares not to be found. Out of the distant vast came a reply. Savitri is in that condition and she receives something. Something unknown, unreached, inscrutable sent down the messages of his bodiless light. So from there, all kind of messages, without any being, without any form, bodiless, they come. Cast lightning flashes of a thought, not ours, crossing the immobile silence of her mind. In its might of irresponsible sovereignty, what a wonderful thing this is. Irresponsible sovereignty. That is what we had. You have to be sovereign, but you are not responsible to anything. Irresponsible here means absolutely free, not bound by any mental notions of things at all, anywhere. Irresponsible, it's a very powerful phrase, irresponsible sovereignty, kind of a oxymoron, you see. If you have to have real sovereignty, you should be really irresponsible. It seized on speech to give those flaming shame, made beat the heart of wisdom in a world, and spoke immortal things to mortal, through mortal lips. So, Savitri is a human Savitri. Through her mortal lips, whatever she is speaking, what is she speaking? She is speaking of immortal things. She has become an instrument, a channel for the powers of the spirit to rush out from her being. Or she is in the company of the great sages, or listening to the sages in the woods. There are rishis, there are munis, there are accomplished sages there around, and they have kind of satsanga or get-togethers, and when they meet, then are listening to the sages of the world. In question and in answer, broke from her high, strange, revealing, impossible to men. What she was speaking, they were also stunned. What is Savitri speaking? All those rishis were stunned by that. Something or someone secret and remote took hold of her body for his mistake use. So Savitri is not Savitri, somebody else is working through her, acting through her. Her mouth was seized to channel ineffable truths, knowledge unthinkable found an utterance. Naturally, when Savitri is speaking like that to those rishis, they are astonished. Astonished by a new enlightenment, invaded by a streak of the absolute. Where is that enlightenment is coming? It is coming from the absolute itself. Astonished by a new enlightenment, invaded by a streak of the absolute, they marveled at her. They, those sages of the woods, all those great realized souls who are there around, who had done years and years of tapasya, they were stunned, astonished. What is Savitri speaking? We had never known of that. They marveled at her, for she seemed to know what they had only glimpsed at times afar. They had done long tapasya, but they had only a small little glimpse once in a while of that. But Savitri is kind of familiar living with that all the while. These thoughts were formed not in her listening brain. Her vacant heart was like a stringless harp. So there you are, see, you can just imagine a harp which has no string, and yet it keeps on playing music. Keeps on playing music. Impassive, the body claim not its own voice. No, Savitri is not Savitri who is speaking there, somebody else. But let the luminous greatness through it pass. She has lent herself, yes, she has become a free channel which will not hinder the divine flow. At will, power, at being's occult repose, still inactive, nameless and invisible. Her divine emptiness was their instrument. What are the dual powers? Inconscient nature dealt with the world it had made and using still the body's instrument. It is using the body's instruments. Slipped through the conscious void she had become. The inconscient nature itself is entering into her being. The superconscious, so you have got the inconscient nature. See, he is talking about dual power, no? Dual power. It doesn't leave anything uh, without narrating it, telling it, revealing it, what it is. First is the inconscient nature. Then the superconscious mystery. Through that void, mission this world to touch the thoughts of men. So she has become now a double power, see, in that sense. Mission this world to touch the thoughts of men. As yet, this great impersonal speech was rare, obviously. But now, the unmoving, wide spiritual space in which her mind survived tranquil and bare, admitted a traveler from the cosmic bliss. So she is now allowing somebody to come from the cosmos here. A thought came through, draped as an outer voice. She is impersonal, so she is allowing, she can do that. It called not for the witness of the mind. It spoke not to the hushed receiving heart. It came direct to the pure perceptions of seed. So not through any channel, through any instruments, it comes directly to her. Okay, so it goes on, we'll see that thing. There was no person there, no centered mind, no seed of feeling on which beat event or objects wrought and shaped reactions of stress. There was no motion in this inner world. All was a still and even infinity.